Hello, my name is Jianti, also known as Ling. So welcome to number 6 of talking about my honest life. Okay, so I'm thinking of taking a rest from talking about relationships. I guess that's last week's date where we went to eat ramen and then we went to find dessert at Botanic Gardens. That was pretty fun. We had the ramen at Chimes for lunch, and then for dessert we have I think it was a chocolate Danish and a croissant plus lattes at Prairie by Craftsman. Yeah, that's pretty good. The location is a bit hidden. You have to follow the sign to really walk in, and the door is on the left. And after that, I get to drive a bit of, cause my dad brought his car along. So, before I left, he asked whether I want to try driving. So I did. My owner drove 2 rounds around her neighborhood at a really slow speed. She tried like 10 km per hour at first, and then she speed up a bit. She was aiming for 20, but it ended up closer to like 15 on average for the second time, although there was some mounting of curbs as well. But yeah, things to improve on. Other than that, well, that's the latest. Other than that, let's talk about a book. So my owner, she reads a lot because she reads 2 books a month. So the most recent book is really exciting. She's still in progress, but let me show you the book. So this is the book that she is reading. It's in Chinese, as you can see. Tuning all Chinese. And I thought that because this is a really good book, we would like to share some of the learnings from the book. So the title of the book is called 见识. It's roughly translated to your horizons or your circle of knowledge. There are a total of 9 chapters. I finished the first 3, so let us just tell you about the first 3 chapters. So the first chapter is called 幸福是目的，成功是手段. That means that the aim of life is happiness, whereas success is just the means to happiness. So don't mistake success for the whole point of life. Success is simply the means towards happiness. So be it success in terms of money, in terms of getting married, in terms of having lots of friends, in terms of being famous, etc. Right? Success is only the means to happiness. So if success becomes the aim of your entire life, then you may find that you are not that happy after all. And the first chapter is really interesting, which I quite like, which is 人生是一条河. So you can see over here, this 人生是一条河. It means that life is a river. So the author talk about the life story of Beethoven. Now, Beethoven, sorry, is it Beethoven? Oh, sorry, oh my gosh. No, it's Mozart. So you talk about the life story of Mozart. So talk about life. If you view life as a river, it has depth, it has how long it is, and then it has the wideness of the river. So for Mozart, right, the author says that his river is a narrower river because he's a classical musician as compared to, say, Michael Jackson, who has a wider river. The width is wider because he has more people liking his works. But then he said that Mozart is a very long river because even until now, people know of him, people know his name, people know his works, people play his music. So it's a very long river. So the length of the river, how long the river is represents how lasting the impact of a person is. Whereas for the depth, is how well. Okay, so according to the author says that Michael Jackson's music is more shallow as compared to Mozart. So depth is the complexity of the works of a person. So that is something you can think about in terms of your life. So this is the summary of a person's life as a river. Understand? Now we are on to the second chapter. So the second chapter is about 人生需要做减法, which means that in life we need to do subtraction rather than addition. So if we look at this over here, it briefly says that human beings, right, like things to be more. We want more things, more stuff, more happiness, more etc. But actually a lot of times, getting rid of things and letting go of things actually gives us more happiness. So for example, nowadays the popular one is the popular concept of this is Marie Kondo. So Marie Kondo, the magic of tidying out. So she talks about letting go of things. You hold on to something, you feel it, and then you think, does this bring me joy? And if not, you throw it away. So that is the art of subtraction. And one important question the author asks is, are you trying to pick out the watermelon from the floor, or are you trying to pick out the sesame seed from the floor? So sesame seeds, right, there are a lot, but then they're all really small, whereas watermelon, they are bigger things. So it means that, are you focusing your attention on the really important big things, or are you actually wasting your time and effort on trying to get small things? Not to say that it's bad to pay attention to details, that's actually very important too, but it's about, is that small thing really that important? So for example, if just to get free things you fight and waste a lot of energy, is that really worth it? Or if you want to save $1 on a cab and then you walk 10 minutes extra, is that really worth it? So it's all down to, because our greatest currency of life is actually our time. It's not money, it's time. We all have limited time to live. So how can we best make use of this time? And talking about time, that makes you want to go back to the first chapter. So the first chapter, the last part of it is about live as if you would die tomorrow. It's about time again, and the time part is very important because for all of us, right, we all know that we're going to die one day. We are salient of our mortality. So how do we know what to do in our limited time? So the author's point of view is that because we are all limited in our time, we should do the things that only we can do, or only we can do well. There are so many things, so many jobs, so many tasks in the world that we can do, and some can only be done by us, whereas others can be done by any other person. So what are the tasks that only we can do as who we are, as us as our unique individual? And then once we know what these tasks are, we do it. So essentially it's these two things that only us as unique individuals can do. And as Oscar Wilde had said, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. Now the third chapter is actually the title of the book over here, 谈谈见识. So 见识 means a person's horizon, how much of the world he or she has seen, how much he or she knows. And I want to talk about one particular chapter which jumps out at me, which is called 比贫穷更可怕的是什么? This means that is a question asking what is worse or what is scarier than poverty, what is scarier than being poor. The author talks about 3 points. So the first point is, of course, 缺乏见识, which means that lacking in horizon, lacking in what one person knows about the world. Because if you don't have the horizon, then your line of sight is you're like living in a cellar, you're like a frog in the bottom of a well. There are a lot of things about the world that you cannot see. And the second is lacking in love. Like if you don't know how to give, if you don't know how to share with other people, if you don't know how to love other people, then that's an issue too. Now the last point is lacking in following the rules or the proper procedure. So the story goes that there's this 70-year-old lady, so she threw some coins in the engine of the plane propeller because she said, it's for luck. But then that actually caused a lot of economic damage, plus it wastes a lot of people's time. So it's actually not a small thing. It's not like the old lady is being difficult, or okay, well, in a way she's rather she's rather stupid, and then but because she doesn't follow the rules, she doesn't follow things properly, she caused a lot of trouble to other people, and that's also something that is not good. And this is the last part, which I sort of translate as best as I can. What is worse than being poor? Okay, and that's all for this episode. Maybe next time I will continue the rest of the book if you are interested. See ya next time.